Hello, today I'm going to talk about the Analyzer module as a part of the Second Look series. The Analyzer module is one of the exceptions to the Second Look series, as it only has a very limited number of settings. It is a very functional and arguably one of the most important modules you will work with. Now, it does not work by itself, so you need to pick a module to connect it to. In this case, I have it connected to dollar cost averaging, but I do recommend you take the time to analyze each and every module in your chain. Now, let's look at this part next. Long positions are when the price is low when you buy and the price is high when you sell. Short positions are when the price is high when you buy or you open a short position and the price is low when you close the short position. Shorting is an advanced technique and very few exchanges really support it. It is something that you need to be aware of before you actually try it. So for the purposes of this discussion, I'm not going to deal with shorting at all. Strictly long positions. Now, from the standpoint of the calendar, these settings let you limit your analysis. But there is a restriction to that, in that you can only pick information that is within your time frame. At the 1 minute time frame, it only has 3.4 days of information roughly. All analysis charts are 5,000 candles. So for 3.4 days of that information, you can analyze. If you pick a date that is beyond that point, TradingView cannot analyze it. It can only give you data within the time frame. If you pick a 1 hour time frame, you will have 208 days of information to analyze. If you pick a 1 day time frame, you will have 13 years of information to analyze, or as far back as TradingView has for information on the asset you are trying to study. So this will not pull out information magically that is not within your time frame. And I did post a table on the Jackrabbit server that goes through and shows exactly how much data by days or by years that each time frame encompasses. So be sure to take a look at that as you prepare for your strategies in determining how you want to work. Properties. This is your budget. You can set this to your real budget, but be aware that TradingView does have some bugs in this. This would be your base currency. If you use the US dollar, USDT, USDC, or any stable coin pegged to the US dollar, use this as your base currency. Make sure this line lines up appropriate to the first one, or your results will not be accurate. If you use percent equity, there is a cacophony of bugs built into TradingView that make this a complete mess to work with. So be aware of them when you're trying to test this one out. I personally prefer just using the base currency level as it is. your base order size or base position. This should be accurate based upon what you are trading with your exchange or trading platform. It will make it easier to help you determine what your actual budget needs to be as you progress. Fill in your commission properly. And this can be a little difficult if you have an exchange that has different numbers for your maker and taker. For example, if you have a maker fee of 0.1% and a taker fee of 0.4%, you need to take the average of that total, which would be 0.25%. And you would put 0.25 here since your total is 0.5. Now, the last two I always check is to force the analyzer to pull real-time data. This is important because it shows you retracement or repainting. It gives you an accurate representation of just what the strategy sees in real time. And that can be extremely important based upon what you are trading on and the different modules you are using. Now, under the Styles tab, this is just what shows up on the screen. Normally this is check marked, but I think it clutters the screen. So I personally recommend taking it out, but it's not going to matter one way or the other. What matters the most is that your Properties tab be filled out properly and your inputs be filled out properly. If you don't turn off shorting for modules like dollar cost averaging, you will get the wrong information. You need to make sure your trade direction is appropriate to your modules. So be aware of that when you're setting this up. Take your time and make sure to set it up carefully. Now let's cover the details on the analyzer window itself. Let's zoom this in. Okay, here you see the exchange and the exact coin you are trading. This information is important as it helps you fill out the ticker ID information in both the primary and confirmation indicators based upon what you are trading, particularly if you want to trade against different assets. And when we get more into other indicators, this will be demonstrated. The maximum number of buys. This is the total number of buys between two sell signals in one continuous run that has occurred within the last 5,000 candles. This also is a reasonable standpoint for a budget. So we take this number, round up to the nearest 10, and double it. So 7, round up, we have 10. Take 10 and double it, we have 20 positions total. Multiply it by your base position size, and you have a budget of $232. It works out reasonably well and gives a reasonable estimate. It is not a set it and forget it system, but it does give you a consistently good way to control your budget. The number of buys is the current number of positions that you hold since the last sell signal. Now, the long positions mean that you've opened at the bottom or the lowest price and you're waiting for it to close at the highest price. Short positions or short selling is just the opposite of long positions. You open when the price is high and you close when the price is low. As I said earlier, not very many exchanges support genuine shorting, so you need to be sure to investigate your exchange and your trading platform to make sure this feature is handled properly. But the most important thing here is this helps you with your budget, even when the analyzer part gives you crazy numbers. Now we are going to take a look at TradingView's analyzer statistics. The strategy tester itself is where TradingView runs an analysis on your recipe and gives you some very important information. I'm going to drive a lot of diehards crazy right now because I'm going to water this down to some very simple facts. This needs to be as high as you can get it. If you have this at 50%, you're breaking even. If this number is below 50%, you are losing money. No ifs, no ands, and no buts about it. This must be a minimum of 50%. And by the time you consider your commission fees, it really needs to be at least 60%. I personally will not accept anything below 80%. I really don't care about this. This is not all that important unless it starts getting to a very big number. Then you are going to need to refine your strategy appropriately. I don't care about this. This number here needs to be as small as you can get it. So when this number is small, it will dramatically improve this number here. If this number gets high, like 3,000 or so, you'll see this number here drop drastically. And that will be demonstrated later on through different videos as we actually test each of the modules. So low, high as possible, at least 80%, and you will get a good combination. Now, be sure to look at every little nuance. Pay close attention to all of the details. Again, TradingView likes to give out these crazy budget numbers, and I'm not sure how these numbers even are given out. Because when you look at your actual purchases based upon your base order, they don't match. As I said in a previous section, this is the most important number you want. Take this, round it up to 10, and double it, and that gives you your budget. It's realistic, it's safe, and it doesn't come out to some kind of crazy figure like this. Also look at your trades. Get an idea of how things actually work. You'll see different things. Ignore the contracts because you're only doing one trade at a time. So again, a rough estimate for a very real and genuine process. The analyzer is arguably the most important module you will use because you will use it on every single module to test and determine profitability. Keeping this handy is important. This can help you pretty much turn the worst coin into an exceptional performer. It's not a complicated script, but you do need to make sure it is set up properly. You need to take the time to to go through all of the steps. Don't rush the process. Specifically, don't be in a rush to lose money, because if you're not careful and you pick the wrong process, you can lose money. The analyzer is not perfect. You can easily break it. If you stick a momentum on here that goes over 9,000 trades, it will break the analyzer. There are situations it can't handle, but for the most part, it does a reasonable job in presenting a reasonable outcome. So be sure you take the time to tune it, set it up, and master using it. Until next time.